we do some 10 questions? Shall we talk about Tom Petty a little
Let's
bit?
do some. Yeah, let's do some. I feel like we haven't talked about Tom Petty much at all, but let's do these. Let's do these 10 questions.
Okay, the worst, and again, especially for a super fan, the worst question in the world is what is your favorite Tom Petty album if you had to pick just one?
If I had to pick just one, it would be Long After Dark.
Oh, tell me all. Why? Why that one?
The song One Story Town. I remember driving around Gainesville, Florida in like 2018, like with 2 a.m, like with a can of Red Bull because I needed to
Right.
get back to Atlanta. I was like, I just need to find Tom Petty's house. I just need to, see if I can find it. And I remember One Story Town came on the radio, and I was like, whoa, this is the environment that is the literal one-story town.
Yeah.
And I thought, huh, what a feeling. What a treat to be able to have, like, at least this kind of exposure to this
Yeah.
exact feeling. Then you've got also the one that goes 1 minor 7 2 1 it's looking out the window of the 747.
Straight
That
into
was
Darkness. Yeah.
Straight into Darkness. That one is so. In high school, I got really into World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have much experience with World of Warcraft, but
I'm in IT. I am the demographic.
so you must, yeah, I'm sure you do. You know how big World of Warcraft is physically. Like, whoa, what a massive world to explore. And this is 2010, 2011. I am just blown away by the scale of this entire thing, and I would just find so much joy in wandering around and like just exploring the World of Warcraft. And the playlist that I happened to play was the Tom Petty discography from start to finish. During this time, which was, that's a formative time to be listening to music that builds you.
Of course.
And some of the coolest shit that I ever saw in my entire life up until that point was discovered while Straight Into Darkness was playing. And that song became like the soundtrack of just being in awe of something amazing. And that is a very specific thing that I just told you.
Yeah.
But that album and World of Warcraft are
they're just linked.
Inexorably linked,
right,
in my mind, and I cannot separate them. But the sense of wonder and awe that I feel just from that exploration, I have a lot of that baked into that album. I think that is actually the main reason that I love that record so much.
But it's also, I mean, when you go back and listen to that as a songwriter, as a a studio musician, as a touring musician, you think, I know that Tom wasn't hugely enamored of it because he felt like they'd sort of done that now and But from Torpedoes to Hard Promises to Long After Dark, you think that's a band that they're just on.
There's on.
Every
single
quick part of that album is just perfect.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. Those songs are like, he talks about it in the biography and Mike also talks about it, that album was not fun to make.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but it kicks ass because it's not also, it's trying to sound good, and it does sound good.
Yeah.
And that's all it's really trying to do is sound good. It's not trying to be deeper than it is. It's a very accessible album.
Yeah. Did you ever read Megan Volpert's book on Straight Into Darkness?
I have it. I haven't read it, but I have a signed copy of it. I was enamored with the song when I got it, and then I never actually opened it.
It's well worth it. I mean, she's a queer riot girl, badass, just
hell yeah
warrior lady who I know you'll enjoy, and she goes deep on it because she says that song basically saved her life.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, it's an incredible read. I would very highly. And she did a great book on Alanis as well. Why Alanis and Morissette Still Matters. She did a brilliant book as well. So well worth it.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
She's
that's Alanis is my other hero.
Yeah.
That's dope. Okay, amazing.
Mudcrutch or Traveling Wilburys?
I'm gonna say Mudcrutch.
Okay.
I know, and I have a very good reason for
Okay.
this. I've justified it. My justification is this, Kevin. Mudcrutch was a band that had no choice but to make it.
Right.
Mudcrutch with Tom and Mike and Jeff Gerard and all those guys, Randall Marsh, they put all of their eggs into this basket of making it. Traveling Wilburys, every single one of them was doing fine. There was nothing on the line.
Right.
It was, and that's fine. What a fun time. Yay. But like, where's the drama?
Right.
And of course the drama comes after Roy Orbison dies. But here's another hot take that I've got for you, Kevin. And I've thought long and hard about whether I want to share this or not, but I hate the sound of Roy Orbison's voice so much.
Okay, well it's been great talking to you, Robin. I gotta
I'm fully prepared. I'm fully prepared, honestly, for that to be the case. But no, it is I find it theatrical.
Yeah.
And I hear the same thing in here's the triple whammy in Queen. In
Fair
Freddie
enough.
Mercury's voice, yeah. I feel the same thing. It is something that does not appeal to me. So in the same way that, I love the B-52s, it's always except for Fred Schneider's voice.
Okay.
It turns out I love Kate Pearson's voice. I hate Fred Schneider's voice. There's no one with that vocal characteristic in Mudcrutch like there is in the Traveling Wilburys.
But that's one of those things that I think that, you should never, it's not a hot take and you should never apologize, because I'm the same with Eddie Vedder, who I think is a fantastic dude, great songwriter, great singer, but his voice is like Neil Young, I cannot listen to, and Morrissey from the Smiths, right? So I've picked three
all
guys
of
there
these
who they've got credentials, right? They're good at what they do, but if that voice doesn't land on your ear right, it's just game over, right?
There's nothing you can do about it. They will always sound like they are doing the Morrissey thing. Oh, you're just doing the Neil Young thing.
Yeah.
You're just doing the Bob Dylan thing.
Would you stand on Bob? Would you stand on Bob's voice?
Voice-wise, fine. I'm not into Bob Dylan.
Okay.
I'm not into it.
Just
like I said, Kevin, I poured all of my eggs into the Tom Petty basket.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like Bob Dylan, because I also love Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
Love Bruce Springsteen. And that's really the only other artist from that ilk whose basket I poured my eggs into. Did you ever see Echoes in the Canyon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrific.
So that first original sound in the canyon from the mid-60s was great.
Yeah.
That first echo that happened, in the mid-70s, like from, 74 to 78 or whatever, which is where Petty and Bruce Springsteen live, a lot of that, and Patti Smith.
Yeah.
That first echo, that, in my opinion, is the peak of human music production. Then the second echo, every consecutive echo has kind of gone downhill from there. But what I'm trying to get at here is that first echo was so much better than the original sound, which is where I would put Bob Dylan, in that original mid-60s sound.
But this is the beauty of the subjectivity of music, right? This is why we talk about it. This is why there are still conversations to have, because if everyone felt the same way about everything, you'd just go, yeah, that's good, and get on with your day, right?
I don't want to say that. Yeah, no, I want to be real with you, Kevin.
Yeah,
I want to be like, yeah, it's hard to say this. It's hard to say that I'm not really into Bob Dylan.
I would say more than 50% of my friends aren't. I would say
Really?
more of my friends aren't into Dylan. I think mainly because of his people just don't get the voice. But I would say that more people aren't than are, to be honest with you, especially these days.
Sure.
Like, who's listening to Bob Dylan anymore?
I mean, you hear that you're supposed to, and so you do. But like he is someone who he's a very lucky guy who like took the hand that he was dealt and was like, I know exactly how to spin this,
Yeah.
and spun it great, and did like he knew how to play the game. So he did the best that he could with what he got, and he did great.
He's made it okay, I think. Eh? We don't
He
need to have
did
any sympathy for
fine.
Bob. So, okay, if you
No.
could join or could have joined the Heartbreakers on stage for one song, what would it be? Would you play and or sing, or a bit of both? What would you do?
I have a very specific answer for this. In the song It's Good to Be King, there is a moment where it's just a big string section that goes bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum. I would be lowered from the top of the stage in a giant cloak. And as soon as it came time for that section, I would throw open the cloak and there would be a huge pipe organ in front of me, and I would play it like a, like a vampire. Just those lines, just that one part, and then I would becloak myself again and be raised back up. And that's what I would do. I would want to play that line.
I love Bicloak, first of all, because no one said that in, I don't know, probably
It's
125
been
years
a
or so or
minute.
something.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing back those little
Oh,
prefixes.
what's the? I'm going to quickly on this though. There's a line in one of your songs and I didn't mention it. Oh God, what is it? It's this one. Yeah. So in Flora Goddess, I've seen to all the plants and all the flowers and such. And when you get the and such to me, it was like it's this such an anachronistic, old-timey kind of. I was like, what? No one says that. That's so
Well,
cool.
no,
I
they
love that.
don't. It makes it no, that's what makes it country music.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that, it would just be rock and roll. But that is what
Right.
makes it country. That's what makes people like, yeah. That's what makes it relatable. It's like, oh, whoa, I see what you just did there.
Yeah.
That's that little gimmick, that little
Yeah.
tweak that makes people actually listen.
Okay, so we got yeah, you're basically doing the Phantom of the Opera right then on Good to Be King. So
That's
that's kind of cool. I like that.
that's just you could drop me in anywhere. I would
Right.
love to play harmonica or something. I would love to play but I think just from a showmanship standpoint,
Yeah.
that would be that
It'd
would
be
be the
great
most
too
fun
that
thing to
if
do.
it happened in the middle of a Petty concert
Just
and
one
Robin Shakedown
person.
came down,
Just
played that
one.
part,
Just
and
once.
and no one referenced it. No one said anything about it. No one looked. They
Nope.
just kind of got on with the gig, and it was just like, did we just see that, or are we all on acid? Like, are we?
That is what I want. That's the role I want at a Tom Petty concert.
Well, no one's going to deny it to you. Okay, who would be your dream opening act? Did you
Dream
did you ever
open.
see the Heartbreakers?
I
By the
did.
way.
I saw the
Okay.
Heartbreakers. Well, I saw the Heartbreakers 10 times over the
Oh, okay.
years.
Okay.
And I saw Mudcrutch twice. So my dream opening act for the Heartbreakers would, I think, be, do you know Butch Walker? Are you familiar
Yeah,
with Butch Walker? I
absolutely.
think so. I've also he's from Atlanta. I've seen him in concert a good number of times, and nobody puts more effort into just sheer outright showmanship
Okay.
than Butch Walker. I've found. And if he were opening for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, I think he would be so stoked to
Yeah.
be opening for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers that just watching him put his act together to try and live up to it would blow my mind.
Yeah.
I think the amount of effort that he would put into opening for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers would be more than anybody. And that's what I want to see. I
Who was the
want to
best?
see
Who was the best opener you did see then? Just as a follow
who's
up to that.
for Tom Petty.
Yeah.
The one that I can remember the best is Steve Winwood, I think.
Anyone who saw Steve Winwood open for Petty always says, "Man, that
Always
guy's
says
good."
that one. Yeah, I mean, it was another situation where like he played a bunch of songs that I didn't realize that I knew.
Yeah.
Like Traffic was am I wrong in saying that that would have been played at a Steve Winwood show?
I mean, I would imagine so. I
Can't
don't.
find my way home. Like I didn't
Yeah,
I think.
you're gonna pull out your big hits if you're opening, aren't you? So
Sure. So like that I missed all of this because I was not, existent at the time when it was happening.
Yeah.
But the only exposure that I'm gonna get to it, unfortunately, is at live shows.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I had that kind of revelation. It's, Steve Winwood, I think, is the answer
Cool.
to that. I also saw the Shelters
Okay. Yeah.
open for them a couple of times. That didn't blow me away, I don't think, as much.
Yeah. It's well, yeah, I can see why. And maybe I'll leave that there. Perhaps I won't say too much more than that. But I was going to ask because I like asking people who saw the Heartbreakers and Mudcrutch. And I was talking to a
Yeah.
friend of mine in Dallas about this. Did you? Because obviously Tom reforms his old band and goes out and starts doing smaller venues and plays bass and he's not singing all the songs. Was there a real sort of palpable difference in the energy in terms of sort of I imagine a Heartbreaker show because it's a big deal, right? You've
Yeah,
got 50
huge.
people and you got all these moving
Sure.
parts, but Mudcrutch, did it feel like he was just more
It
relaxed and sort of
was nuts. Did you ever see Mudcrutch?
no, I never saw
Oh my
Tom
god.
either. No,
Oh my gosh, Kevin.
I know.
So the Mudcrutch show was so much more accessible than the
Yeah,
Heartbreaker shows. I mean, it's like you said, you go to a Heartbreaker show and there are, freaking 10 trailers that pull up and unload all the lighting and unload all the sound. For
yeah,
Mudcrutch, they had like a truck and they had a tour bus.
right.
And it was just a bunch of like little tiny combo amps that they had up on stage, mic'd up, and
Yeah.
it looks like a living room. Um, and it was at the Tabernacle here in Atlanta, which is a small, like it's not small, it's a theater
Yeah,
for sure, but like I was right up front seeing freaking Tom Petty. Like
yeah,
it's the closest I think I ever got to him. Well, yeah, actually, after the show, we did the whole camp outside thing, and I actually
right.
met him and shook
Oh,
his
no
hand, which
way.
is cool. Yeah. I didn't have anything for him to sign, and he was surprised by that. So
But
I just said, yeah, he was very he was taken aback when I just said
yeah,
thanks for the music, and then he was like, hey, you're welcome.
that's awesome.
That
Because
was all.
a man of
Yeah.
few words, though, right? Famously,
He
it
was a
wasn't,
man. Absolutely, absolutely. But that experience, that kind of like being able to actually hear the strings, like to hear the
yeah,
strings themselves be plucked
yeah,
from the side of the stage and not just through the amplifiers was wild. It brings um I don't know if I should say this, but also my now fiance, then girlfriend, at the time, and I snuck backstage before the show,
okay.
and I happened to pick up and play one of Mike's Telecasters that night,
No
uh,
way.
just like for a second, and then
That's
I put it
amazing.
right back down. And so that is why seeing Mudcrutch was so much
Wow.
better, I think, than seeing Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Wow.
Just because, yeah,
I think if Mike heard that story, he'd be like, "That's rock and roll. That's cool." You know what I
I
mean?
hope
Because
so.
they all grew up doing the same thing. They would have
Of
100%. They
course.
would have done that, right? Of
100%
course
they
they
would have
would.
done that. Yes. Yes. So yeah, that's I think my answer. Mudcrutch was just so, they were in it to win it.
Yeah.
They had no choice but to try their best and to learn how to play like nobody else. Like
Yeah.
they had to succeed, and they did
Yeah.
to an extent.
I love it. Okay. Who's your favorite band member other than
Scott
Tom?
Thurston.
Okay. The Swiss Army knife. Okay.
Scott
Why?
Thurston. Yeah, I like the fact that he can be anywhere.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's a multi-instrumentalist. I like the fact that I've always said that if I ever saw the Heartbreakers in a guitar store, I would go up to Scott and I would just be so starstruck.
Yeah.
And I would ask for his autograph, and then I would say, "Who are your friends?" Because I'm sure he doesn't get that, and I
Yeah.
want him to have that. I want him to have that. I love the fact that my introduction to him was harmonica, because my introduction to music was harmonica,
Okay.
and it's always been my first instrument, and I've always considered Scott Thurston to be the harmonica player of the Heartbreakers, just
Oh,
because it was the first time I saw him play with them.
yeah. There's that version, my favorite version of Walls, which we're going to I can get that question soon, but is the PBS special where Tom's wearing that kind of black polo neck and he comes out and he says, "Everywhere I look, it's me," and he's kind of looking up at the TVs,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
because
yeah.
Scott sings the backing vocals and then he does the harmonica, so and
Yes.
it's just like, oh my, because a real I've got my harmonica here that I'm still
Okay.
supposed to be learning. I haven't
Okay.
sat down and time to it. But when it's played well, when a harp's
It's
played well, it's just the best sound in the
it's
world.
fantastic. And it's a lot I think it's a lot easier than it's made out to be.
Okay.
Once you get there's like a little tiny hump of intuition, take that how you will, that
Right.
you have to get over. And then once you get over that little hump, it's like, oh, everything is intuitive to
Yeah.
harmonica.
I mean, I can play it, but I can't. The bit I'm struggling. Maybe I'll have to teach. I'll have to pay you to teach me. We'll do some Zoom on lessons. But it's
Sure,
the
we could do something
bending.
like
Like I
that.
can't get. I don't know how. I just can't figure out how the hell that works. You know what I mean? I'm not asking you
That
to tell
is
me how.
definitely something. No, that's honestly something that you just fuck around with it until something happens, and then
Yeah.
you just try to recreate that as many times as you can.
Right. Same as any instrument, then, really, right? Just fake
Sure,
it till you make it. Yeah.
sure. Like
Okay. If
anything in the world.
if you could see any Tom Petty concert from history that you weren't at, which one would you go to?
I think my answer would be the Winterland Ballroom, December
Okay.
31st, 1979, I want to say. Um, and I just think that that would be such a weird environment
Yeah.
because it was the last night, possibly the second to last night of the venue existing.
Yeah.
Um, the energy in the room would have been like it was in the late 70s, so Ticketmaster wasn't a thing.
Yeah. Can we
There
go back to
was
them, please?
I can we please, I agree. Either that one or there was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Allman Brothers, and I think Leonard Skinner all played
Ridiculous.
I know it would have been such a wild show. I think in 78 somewhere here in Atlanta, and that would have been also very fun to
Yeah.
exciting to be at. Those
You
two
think
shows.
you think some of those old sort of, the touring shows when you had Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis and and sort of like three or four of them, and they would all come out and play. I think at the time, I'm sure when you were there, it was just like, oh yeah, these guys are pretty good. It's only
Yeah.
sort of 20 years later when you think, holy shit, I was there
Oh
when
my
they all
God,
played on
those
the
were
same night.
legends. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's so difficult to know like what concerts are going to be legendary.
Yeah. But the
You just got to
Winterland
go to as
obviously is
many as possible.
the Winterland one, like you said, is that's the one when Tom gets dragged into the crowd too, right? So I think
Yes.
from an incidence standpoint, that one or the one, what's the venue now in when Tom basically sort of stopped the gig and said, right, all these Confederate flags, you got to quit it with this because this is not what we meant. I don't,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Just to see, I think the energy
yeah.
in a room when something like that happens
It's
is
wonderful
interesting. Yeah,
to be able to see that and to be able to know like, oh, this is an actual person.
yeah,
This wasn't
yeah,
scripted. This was something that is showing how this artist will react
yeah,
to a real situation. I love that. I love humanizing artists.
yeah. And those are the gigs again. Like when a gig doesn't go 100% smoothly, they're the ones you
Seeing how they
remember because
handle
it's when
it.
interesting things happen, right?
It
So,
is. It is.
okay, Walls number three or Walls Circus.
I think the correct answer is Wall's Circus.
Okay,
My reason for that is the snare drum that happens. There's, I think, a snare that happens at the same time as the floor tom going into the very first chorus of
yeah,
that song. And you got a heart. So it's I think it's right on you got, and it is such a powerful sound that
yeah.
you hear right in that moment. Um, that's the answer that that I had off the top of my head. Because originally, Kevin, I must admit, I had Have Love Will Travel in my head. When I
Ah,
was
okay.
when I was trying to figure out which version of the song I liked better. I think it was Have Love Will Travel that I had in my head, and I was trying to remember the version that had a very specific delay on the snare drum, and it sounded like some pitter patter of a fox, like
Right.
running up a snowy staircase or something. And I've always loved that sound, and so I thought this morning when I was ruminating on this question that was the song that we were thinking of, and it wasn't until only a few hours ago that I was like, oh shit, it's a different song. So I had to come up with something really quick, and that is the reason that I came up with. It's that one snare drum, and I think floor tom hit going into the first chorus.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
I love the specificity of it though, because that's when you know you're a musician. Is because I talk again when you talk to musicians, normal people, not weirdos, they don't
Normies.
listen to music in that same way where a
No,
song can be good and you can enjoy it, but it's literally one snare hit is like that's the universe to you, right? And what or one line or
exactly.
one. So, oh, do you hear when they double time just for 2 beats? It's so
I
cool, you
know.
know.
Yeah, I know. Like that little thing. If you can vocalize exactly what it is you love about something, I'm just
Yeah.
answering the damn question. You know, that's
Okay,
all I'm doing.
if you could pick any artist to cover any Tom Petty song, which artist and which song?
I would love to hear Liz Phair do something, or
Okay.
Alanis Morissette. I would love to hear either Liz Phair or Alanis. Oh no, or Veruca Salt. I would love to hear like some like post grunge girl
Yeah.
band do something super sweet, like
Okay.
from Wildflowers. I would love to hear "It's Hard to Find a Friend"
I love
done
it.
in like a real grungy Veruca Salt kind of
Yeah.
way. I think that would just be so just like it would be so sexy. It would be so seething,
Yeah.
and I would love that.
It would really sort of it would change the meaning of the song too. Again, we talk about, that generality that Tom wrote with where you can sort of insert yourself into the picture that he's drawing for you. And one of
Yeah,
those bands like Liz Phair, I mean, that song would just become something
something
entirely different.
completely different.
Yeah.
Yes, just in the way that she would sing it, it would
Yeah.
become so sarcastic.
You know what? The problem with asking this question, I've asked this question now, I don't know, at least two, 3 dozen times, is I want to hear all these bloody songs these great ideas that people keep coming up with. It's like, has anyone got Liz Phair's number? Because I think we probably just need to make this happen, really. So,
Probably just call her up and say, "Hey, we got $1 billion idea for you,
yeah,
Liz.
this will make you famous, girl.
This will."
Okay, what song do you most frequently recommend to people who don't know Tom's music, if such a thing exists?
So that one was actually really hard. I went back and forth a lot on this one. And it was between three songs. It was between Restless from the first
Okay.
album, Hurt from I think the second album.
Yep, pretty sure, yeah.
Just cuz it's a great it's I think that that song is a great introduction to Mike Campbell's guitar playing. Just in general, Hurt. And then the last song was something from Hypnotic Eye. I want to say it was or Mojo, Jefferson Jericho Blues.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you got your harmonica back then, right? So,
Exactly.
you know,
So like I try to, it's so difficult to give, there's no one song that represents
yeah.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and what they sound like over the entire course of their careers. Um Other than, I guess when people think of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, they think of all the songs that are on Damn the Torpedoes.
Yeah.
That one plus American Girl. And those are the songs that people think of. But it's like that is such a generalized and specific genre of Tom Petty that like Dogs on the Run from Southern
I
Accents,
love that song.
that is like that one is so different from a
Yeah.
song like Breakdown, but both of them are extremely characteristic of the band.
Yeah, I love it. Hypnotic Eye, again, I mean, I say this all the time on the pod again. I don't want to bore people who listen to the pod regularly, but I mean, a 16th album by a guy who is 62,
It was like,
64,
yeah,
whatever he is at
at
that
that
point,
point,
and
yeah.
comes out with a garage rock album. And you're like, this band isn't done yet. Like, there's still
The
so
Kit
much more. And that's
Jazz,
the sadness about losing him is that he wasn't done. Like, the songs were still pouring out of him. You Get Me High, like you mentioned earlier, Fault Lines.
yeah.
As a drummer, if you want to get demoralized about your drumming, go try playing that bloody
Go
part.
try and play Fall Lines. I can imagine. It's like, yeah, I remember you were talking to Shine about it.
Yeah, yeah, yes, right.
Just about that drum part. Like it's
There's so
such,
much of it.
yeah. I can imagine. I can only imagine. And to see like what would have come next. What
Yeah.
was untouched?
Blues album, garage rock album.
hip
Who
hop.
knows? Maybe we would have got it. Well, that wouldn't have been
I'm
a thing.
honestly, no, I mean, that was what was left.
It's the only thing left. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 words. How do you describe Tom Petty?
This one was difficult. I did not want to answer this one. I can't even answer this one. You know, they would sound like insults because I would say things like accessible,
Right.
but I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So I'll say accessible.
Okay.
Shit, Kevin, this is the one that I didn't put any thought into.
Well, this is better then because I'm getting this is
I know,
off the dome.
I know. Accessible, universal, and I'm just gonna say auditory because
Okay.
that'll kind of encompass all music. You can't argue with that one.
No,
Nobody can say it's not auditory.
it's factual. It
It's
hits the mark. It covers all the bases. You've done the you've lived up to the remit. Is what I was trying to
that is
say.
my yeah. There you go. There you go. But I
Accessible,
understand
universal, auditory, and
auditory.
all start with vowels. Something to dig in with the therapist
That's
about. I
my
think that.
thing. Yeah, no, I'm glad you caught that too because that's I wasn't gonna go to bed thinking about that, but now it's the only thing I'm gonna think of for the next month.